This is Sky with Politics NY. Schneps Media is asking each candidate running for New York City office this year 3 questions in 3 minutes. And right now, I'm with Councilmember Ben Kallos, who's running to be our next Manhattan Borough President. So let's get to know him a little bit. Ben, tell us about yourself and why you're running for Manhattan BP.
Hi, I'm Councilmember Ben Kallos. I co-chair the Progressive Caucus, and I'm running for Manhattan Borough President because anywhere else in America, people struggle to get out. But here in New York City, we struggle to stay, and I believe that together we can fix that.
So there are a lot of challenges in the city right now, and a lot of people have left Manhattan. So what do you think you'll bring to the table, Ben, that will sort of get everything back in shape?
I think it comes down to a lot of us grew up here. I grew up here. I went to the Bronx High School of Science. I went to the State University of New York, at Albany, then Buffalo Law School. And when I grew up here, I shared a room with my mother. We lived with my grandparents. And when I went to public school, I was so ashamed to stand in this poor line that I just didn't eat. And that's why when I got elected, I made sure every kid had breakfast and actually free lunch for the entire city. And I think that if we have universal after school and supper, we can end youth hunger. I can also tell you as a new parent that universal childcare would make things a lot easier. And that's why I'm proud to have just won 3K for all of Manhattan.
That's awesome. And I know you've come up with a lot of cool plans for kids, including making vacant storefronts into some after school activity centers during the pandemic.
Correct. And so we had learning bridges. We're now moving towards 3K for all. And I'll tell you that we need to put pre-K and 3K anywhere we can. And we've actually done a lot of that in my district. And I want to do that all over Manhattan.
What about you makes you the best candidate in this race, Ben? Because it is competitive to be the next Manhattan Borough President.
I think that it's all about who the candidates are. And for me, I grew up here. I've been a lifelong tenant. I went to public schools here, and I don't even own a car. Public transit's where it's at for me. And so when it comes to it, people are going to prioritize what they've lived through. And for me, that's affordable housing. It's ending hunger. It's improving our public transit and making sure that folks can actually stay here, live here, and grow here and thrive here. And that's why I'm running. And I think that's what sets me apart from the entire field.
Okay, so now tell us something fun about yourself.
Sure. The most fun thing about me is I have a cat named Pandora, and she's kind of stolen the show since the pandemic. And if she isn't on a Zoom, people are actually really rude to me.
I remember she became famous during the pandemic. She was sitting next to you during the city council hearings.
Absolutely. She is one of the best parts of the job. The other best part of my job is, and I think the pandemic, and if there's a silver lining to the pandemic, it's that for those of us with small children, I've gotten to spend the past year of my daughter's life with her as she was growing. And now she was a baby before, now she's a toddler. And I wouldn't give that up for anything.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you. Thanks for being part of Schneps Media's 3 questions in 3 minutes. And I'm Sky with Politics NY.